This video covers something that confused me for quite a while. Why are there so many different CPU configurations on Intel MacBooks, and what do they really mean? The 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro is arguably the best Intel MacBook one can buy right now, so we'll use that as an example. The base model 15-inch 2015 MacBook Pro comes with a 2.2 GHz quad-core Intel i7 4th generation. You get 16GB of RAM too, which is fine as all 15 inches come with 16GB from that year. The CPU boosts up to 3.4 GHz, which is fairly decent and means you'll be able to get through most workloads okay. Because they're all base models though, the 2.2 GHz models can only come with Intel Iris Pro graphics integrated into the processor. They don't use dedicated VRAM and are a hell of a lot slower than almost any dedicated graphics cards. The mid-tier 2015 15-inch MacBook Pro configuration has a 2.5 GHz quad-core i7 CPU. It boosts up to 3.7 GHz, meaning it's a pretty decent CPU. You're not going to get anything much better on the Intel side of things unless you pay significantly more money. It has the same integrated Iris Pro graphics as the base model, but there's an optional dedicated GPU on this mid-tier 2.5 configuration too. The AMD R9 M370X. With 2GB of GDDR5 video memory, it's a hell of a lot better than the integrated graphics on the base model MacBook. I found that the M370X was capable of some pretty decent entry-level gaming. Grand Theft Auto 5, Fortnite, and of course Minecraft all ran absolutely fine. Let's not forget that the GPU isn't limited to improving performance in games though. Rendering 3D objects for designers, programmers and more will come a lot easier with the dedicated GPU. The M370X is reportedly 75% more powerful across the board than the Iris Pro integrated graphics, which is obviously a significant margin. The 2.5 GHz model isn't as good as it gets for 2015's MacBook lineup though. The highest spec option is the 2.8 GHz quad-core i7, which can turbo boost all the way to 4 GHz. For a 2015 machine, that's seriously impressive, as only one MacBook managed to break 5 GHz, and that was 4 years later with the 2019 i9. Back to that top-spec 2015 model though. Despite having an extra few hundred MHz CPU speed, there's really not many reasons to choose this over the middle-of-the-road 2.5 GHz laptop. The graphics cards in both the 2.5 and 2.8 GHz models are the same if upgraded, so you're not gaining any performance there. Remember, all the configurations came with 16GB of RAM, so again, no reason to pay more really. The only place you're getting gains is the processor clock speed, and boy, those really are slim gains. Each upgraded CPU option is between 4 and 6% faster than the one below it. Okay, so long explanation, I know, but the same sort of system applies to most Intel Macs. For example, Come on, man. Anyway, the same sort of system applies to most Intel Macs. For example, the 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch models had i7 and i9 CPUs to choose from. With each CPU, however, there were a few graphics chip options you could get, ranging from the paltry Radeon 555X to the very solid Pro Vega 20, both from AMD. Anyway, why is this so confusing? Well, to start with, Apple never made it particularly clear in the Apple Store. You could buy each 2015 CPU option without the dedicated graphics cards. In fact, you may not even have known they were missing without doing your research beforehand because of the layout of the website. No one is buying these new anymore though, so it's even more confusing for those buying on eBay or similar sites. It's very easy to assume that all 2.5 and 2.8 GHz 2015 15 inches have the dedicated AMD graphics. However, since they don't all, and a lot of sellers won't put the graphics spec in the listing, you'll end up messaging and asking them to do a system report for you. Worse still, some sellers assume that all of the 15-inch 2015s had AMD graphics, so unbeknownst to you, you could buy the wrong Mac. So yeah, I'm sensing this is quite a confusing video. It's a confusing topic though. In essence, here's what you need to remember for the 2015 15-inch MacBook Pros. 2.2 GHz, no dedicated graphics and the slowest CPU. 2.5 GHz, most but not all have the dedicated graphics. 2.8 GHz, best CPU, Again, most but not all have the dedicated graphics. Anyway, as I mentioned, the 2015 MacBook Pro is still a very solid machine to buy in 2023. If you're going to buy an Intel machine, I reckon this is the one for you. It has a great screen, enough RAM, arguably the perfect design, as well as many CPU and GPU options for you to choose from depending on the tasks you aim to achieve. It's thinner and lighter than the unibody laptops, but not as minimalism crazy as the 2016 onwards Intel MacBooks went, with their USB-C only designs. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope this video clears up something, I guess. Sorry this video took a while to come out, but I've not been well, as you can probably hear in my voice. Alright, subscribe for more videos on Old Macs Weekly.